Learn to DJ.
Congratulations on purchasing your brand new DDJ-200. My name is Blake and I'm from Jands, the distributor for Pioneer DJ in Australia. And here we've created this exclusive course just for you to learn how to DJ with your DDJ-200. We're going to go through 5 lessons: setting up, basic DJ theory, where to find your music, an introduction to Rekordbox, and finally, setting up your first mix. So, let's get into it.
Learn to DJ.
All right, let's unbox the controller. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to let you know the very things that are in the box. So clearly we have our controller. I'll just remove the foam pads. Voila. And there's also several other pieces that are very important, so do not throw them away yet. We do have our instruction guide plus the 1-year warranty card, along with information on streaming services, but we'll get more onto that later. Mind you, the DDJ-200 is compatible on multiple platforms over multiple applications. Here we have the user guide, also a quick start guide as well. I'll lay that aside. And finally, a couple of very important pieces. So we have our USB cable, which is used to power the unit and also control the DJ software. And finally, the split cable, which is important also. This is used to not only hear the sound coming out of your speakers, but also to cue your tracks so you can listen to them in your headphones, so you don't make mistakes. All right, let's get started on connecting.
Learn to DJ.
Now let's look at connecting to your device. The DDJ-200 is compatible with Mac and PC, as well as iOS and Android devices. Throughout this course, I'll be focusing more on the Mac with Rekordbox, but allow me to show you the various connections across all these devices. So here we have the DDJ-200 with the supplied USB cable and the split cable. So connect this from your DDJ-200 to your laptop. I've got a MacBook Pro with USB-C ports, so I have a direct cable. You can also purchase an adapter as well. So let's just do that. Okay, now with that connected, light should pop up just like that, which we can clearly see that there's power going to the controller, as well as enabling us to control the DJ software. Now here I have the split cable, so plug the 3.5mm end into the headphone jack of your PC. Okay, so we have the split cable here. There's a black plug and a white plug. You can clearly see the icons here. The speaker icon on the black plug, which signifies you need to connect your speakers to the black plug. So I have the Pioneer DJ DM40s, so I'm just going to connect it like so. And then finally the white plug, which has the headphone icon. Connect your headphones to the white plug. Here I have the Pioneer DJ HDJ Q1 BTs. All right. And there you have it. I'm connected. Now I'm just going to open up Rekordbox.
Learn to DJ.
Okay, now we're just going to look at connecting your DDJ-200 to your iOS or Android device. So here I have an iPhone, an old iPhone, and I'm going to use the app WeDJ. So I've already got the speakers connected through the black plug and the headphones connected through the white plug. But you'll also need to power it. So it does. You'll need to buy this separately, a USB charger. Generally comes with your iPhone, but here in this example, I've just plugged it into my laptop just to power it up. So I'm just going to open up WeDJ. I am also going to connect the headphone jack to my iPhone, which is an older iPhone, so you may need an adapter to hook that up. I'm going to head over to settings. here I have an option called connect, well, I've got the option connect the DDJ-200. So there's no physical connection between the controller and the phone, so it's going to send control over Bluetooth. Also, I want to add, it doesn't send audio over Bluetooth, it's only control, okay? Which is why we have the split cable. WeDJ would like to use Bluetooth, okay. Now we can see here, I've connected it multiple times, but I've got here the DDJ-200 not connected. And you can also see that the LED is flashing, indicating that it's waiting for it to be discovered. So I'm just going to click that right there, wait for it to do its magic, buttons and all the pads light up, and there we have it. Okay, now that I have the DDJ-200 connected, if I just scratch on a song, there we go. Now I'm ready to DJ.
Learn to DJ.
And now that we've connected everything, let's download Rekordbox. So head over to rekordbox.com, click download, scroll down to agree, click agree, and then click download again. Please also note the system requirements, so that way your Mac or PC is suitable for running Rekordbox. And once that's done, click the installer in the downloads folder, follow the prompts to install Rekordbox. So when opening up Rekordbox for the first time, it'll prompt you to log in with your Pioneer DJ account. If you're a first-time Rekordbox user, you don't need to worry about converting because you haven't installed the previous version as of yet. If you have, hit start. Otherwise, start without the conversion. Now with the DDJ-200, you do not need to pay for a plan. You'll come across a screen about new subscription plans. With the DDJ-200, this unlocks performance mode, so you don't need to purchase any other plans. So please skip this point. For more information on plans, head over to rekordbox.com/plans. And once that's done, we're in.
Learn to DJ.
Now we're up to basic DJ theory. As you know that there are a lot of genres out there and also a lot of subgenres of music that have different variations. But what they all have in common is beat and structure. So we know the word beat and like what a good beat sounds like. But what does the actual term beat mean? It simply means the underlying pulse, or in this case, the underlying pulse in music. See, we all have a heartbeat and it's consistent whether we're in an adrenaline rush or not. And just like with music, the beat is consistent. So I'm going to play a track, for example. So you can simply tap to the beat with your foot or with your hand or clap like that, and we know and we can feel the actual beat and it's constant. And in this sense, there's 4 beats in 1 bar. 1 bar determines a phrase or a section in music. And in this sense, I'm going to give you the example of, well, how there's 4 beats in 1 bar, and that's pretty much common to a lot of genres in music. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And the great, and what I feel in house music or in other, electronic dance music, there's a common theme as to structure. And like with other commercial music out there, there's an intro, there's a verse, there's like a pre-chorus, there's a hook, and it repeats the same thing again another time, and then to a bridge, and then to a chorus, and then to outro. So I'll give you an example of where to find the beat in your music. So I'm going to hit play. All right. So as you can pretty much tap to the beat, you can feel it, right? So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're always accustomed to it. So in many styles of music, there's 4 beats in 1 bar. A bar is simply a phrase in music, right? A section in music. And like with hip hop, for example, there's 16 bar verses. You've probably heard that terminology before. With house music, there's 8 bars or 32 beats in one section that go from breakdown to verse to breakdown to, you know, the high energy bit, right? So, so that's that. Now let's go into structure.
Learn to DJ.
So let's get on to structure. This determines the different sections in music. There's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows. There's a lot of variations in dynamics in music because of structure. With many commercial songs out there, it starts with an intro, then you got a verse, then you got a pre-chorus, then a chorus, a verse 2, then a chorus, then a bridge, then another chorus, and then the outro. And this is also similar to the music that I'm playing now. So it may not follow that same structure. However, you can clearly hear the build-ups, the drops, and also the breakdown. So I'm just going to play this piece of music again. Go all the way back to the beginning. So what you'll hear is there's a lot of snares happening, right? So it's like building up towards the high energy bit, right? Okay, and it drops, and there it gets into the high bit. And this goes for a certain period of time. So this goes for 32 beats, which is 8 bars. And generally with house music, there's always a variation every 8 bars. So I'm going to hit shift, then the jog wheel to quickly scroll through the track. So I'm just going to get to the breakdown. Hear that bass drop, and now it's a bit silent, and now it's quiet now, and then as you can see with the waveform, and as I scroll through, and then we're getting back into the build up again for another 8 bars. Okay, and that's it for beat and structure. Let's head over to beat matching.
Learn to DJ.
So let's look at beat matching. It's simply matching a track to another track, so that way you're able to seamlessly transition over to the other, as if it's one song. So let's play the first track. Okay, so I'm going to play the second track in a moment of time, very soon, and you can see the cue coming over. 1, 2, 3, 4, play. Now you can hear that it's sort of offbeat. I'm going to hit, so I want the track in deck 2 to sync with beat 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move over to deck 2 and I'm going to hit the beat sync button. And now deck 2 is locked to deck 1. Now it's playing all at the same time. That's pretty much your beginner's way, and it's good to get you out of trouble. Let's start all over again, and now I'm going to press play. I'm going to click beat sync again to disable it. Now I'm going to try to beat match it myself. It's pretty easy now because both tracks are at 124 BPM, which is beats per minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4, play. Okay, you can hear it's, you know, off beat. So I'm gonna go over to the jog wheel, not touch the top of the jog wheel, but on the side for me to move it over. Now it's playing at the same time. Now this is what DJs commonly do in order to beat match the tracks. All right, I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to select another track in deck 2. Well, I'm going to select another track, but this time at a different tempo. I am going to look at, drag this one right here. So here's a complete difference. There's one that's 124 BPM, and we've got the track in deck 2, which is 118. So I'm going to have to try to work this out. Okay. So I'm going to play from here. So if I hold that and hit Q, the Q triangle heads there. So I'm just going to hit play right now. Now we can clearly see it's offbeat. Doesn't sound good. So I'm just going to move the tempo slide up till 124 BPM. Okay, though it may be at the same tempo, it's still out of sync, right? So I'm gonna fix that up by going here, by sliding the jog wheel all the way to match each bar and beat like so. Now they're both playing at the same time. Okay, so bear in mind they're both playing at the same time, they're both just jumbled up together, and also they're both at a different pitch, so at a different key. So now we're gonna look at mixing seamlessly from one track to another. We've learned about beat matching, we're gonna look at mixing now.
Learn to DJ.
Okay, so let's look at mixing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the track in deck 1 and then smoothly transition over to the track in deck 2. So for this, I'm gonna leave the crossfader in the middle. I'm gonna turn this fader down on deck 2 and let's play. All right. So I'm gonna play it at the same time that I did before. Okay, wait for it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, hit play. This is where the headphone cue comes in so I can listen to the track here. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna beat match it using the jog wheel, but also it's the tempo's off. So I'm gonna use the tempo slider to match it, like so. All right. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna cut the lows. I'm gonna bring that eventually up. Here we go, and then I'm gonna bring it down, like so. Okay. Let's try that again. I'm gonna take it back to the beginning, reverse that, put everything as normal, and I'm gonna hit play. So that's how you seamlessly transition from one track to another. I cut off the lows towards getting into the other track, so that way the lows don't clash into each other rather. Okay, play. Okay, so I've already adjusted the tempo. I'm just gonna beat match it to make sure that they're all playing at the same time. Excellent. Now during this time, I'm gonna 3, 4, and turn the lows. Okay, so that signifies that all right, we're getting into a different section. I'm gonna slowly turn this up. All right, here we go. And bring the one down. Fantastic. Okay, well that's it for basic DJ theory. Let's head over on where to find your music.
Learn to DJ.
Okay, so let's look at where to source your music. Many different avenues of where to go on the web, so let's list them out. First of all, you can purchase them separately. So you can go to the iTunes store or Amazon or even Beatport to purchase them separately. And maybe if you want to purchase a multiple amount of tracks but you don't have the budget for it, you can also consider places like DJ pools. They're built for DJs. They require a subscription service where you pay yearly or monthly. You get access to their entire library, which contain full tracks, radio edits, extended edits, and even mashups of multiple tracks. You can see services like BPM Supreme or DJ City or Digital DJ Pool, just to name a few. And also you can consider streaming services. They give you access to all the songs through an internet connection, as well as playlists that you've already created in there. It's handy if you have requests from an audience or someone in a wedding, for example, and you don't have that song in your library at that time. Rekordbox support these following streaming services: Beatport Link, SoundCloud Go Plus, BeatSource Link, and also Tidal. And then there's DJ pools, which are online based, built for DJs. They're subscription based, whether you pay monthly or yearly, depending on the website, and they give you access to their entire library. They include full tracks, radio edits, extended edits, and mashups for you to download. Here are a few popular DJ pools out there: BPM Supreme, DJ City, and Digital DJ Pool, just to name a few. And finally, Rekordbox have free tracks available over a different range of genres. All you got to do is hit the free button next to SoundCloud, and there you have it. And a couple more tips. Not only play what you like, listen to your audience. Cater for what they want to hear. You wouldn't want to play some deep house in an R&B and hip hop crowd. And also, find out what's hot right now. You can check out the DJ pools for more info. You can head over to the Billboard Top 100 or the top playlists in your favorite radio station. You can also look at your favorite Spotify playlists and see what's hot right there and then.
Learn to DJ.
Now it's time to explore Rekordbox. Let me show you what everything does. First of all, get into performance mode. Now what you'll see is your effects at the top, your enlarged waveforms, your smaller waveforms on each deck so you can quickly scroll through the track if you want. You'll see your jog wheels and in them contain the BPM as well as the tempo range according to your slider. As you can see, I can control that, and that changes the number in the BPM. You'll also see these performance pads. Now, if I enter some hot cues, hit that, and if I hit play, and you can see these little fields populate with the hot cues. And as we look down below, this is where we will find our collection and our track lists. So on the left-hand side, this is where we see our collection. This is where we gain access to our playlists and also access to your streaming services if you have them. And finally, in the main section here is where you find your track list. So that changes depending on what you have selected on the left-hand side. So if I hit collection, that shows me every single track. And then if I go to playlists, that obviously shows my playlists. Okay, now let's get into importing your tracks into Rekordbox.
Learn to DJ.
Okay, let's get into importing your tracks into Rekordbox. So as you can see, I've got some tracks here on my Mac. Let me just drag one over. I'm going to drag this song Cyberpunk right over here. And we can clearly see that Rekordbox has laid a big grid out according to its tempo, like so. If you want to import multiple tracks, you can select a bunch. You can also drag a folder directly into the collection bay, like so. And you can see that it has imported that a multiple amount of tracks, and it's also analyzing all of them accordingly. So the reason why Rekordbox analyzes tracks is so that way we can transition smoothly to another track in a similar tempo. And now that we've imported our tracks, it's time to create playlists. So let's head over to the right-hand side where we see our collection. So under playlists, if I select that, there's a plus button. If I hit that, that creates a new playlist. So I'm going to type in high energy. So with that, I can select these tracks right here, and I can either right click and add to playlist, or I can click and drag it over. Whoop, like so. And if I click the high energy playlist, there you go.
Learn to DJ.
Once you've created all your playlists, it's time to enter in your hot cues for your tracks. Hot cues are simply bookmarks in your tracks to determine where you want to start playing from or where you want to start transitioning to another track. So let's look at doing that right now. In order to enter in hot cues for your tracks, I've got to load a track onto one of the decks. So let's do that. I'll just click and drag, and there we go. So let's play the track. So I'm going to enter in a hot cue when this section, at the section change. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you can hit it right there. Now you can see that I've entered in the hot cue and it seems to be on time, despite if I'm sort of off time or not. The reason why is because I've got the cue button, which is enabled right here in the middle of the screen. Q stands for quantize. If I turn off the quantize button, and if I play, and if I hit another hot cue, you can clearly see here that it is off the beat grid. Now, it may be useful for some tracks if you want to play it at that time, but in this sense, I want to have the quantize mode on, so that way when I hit the hot cue, it's right on beat. So no stress, I can simply delete that hot cue by hitting Shift and the appropriate button. So it's cleared, so I can hit play again. I'll enable the quantize button again. I'm going to hit the hot cue button again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, pretty much it. What's probably also useful if I do that, what's also useful about hot cues is you can remix the track. So if I do this, pretty cool.
Learn to DJ.
Okay, so let's look at utilizing the performance pads on the DDJ-200. If you look at the bottom of the screen, on each side there are 4 modes. There are 4 modes on the performance pads: hot cue, beat loop, pad FX1, and also sampler. So since we've already looked at hot cues, let's head over to beat loop. As I click that section flashes indicating now we're in a different mode. What you'll also notice is around this area, that changes as well. So let's hit play and see what everything does. So if I hit the last one, so what this does, it dependent on each pad, it enables a loop. So we can see here, you see here it's 32, so it's applying a 32 beat loop, which can be useful if you want to loop it to transition to a different track, or if you want to do build-ups as well. So let's do this, like so. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is a 8-bit loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now a 4-bit loop. So what I'm doing now is like a build-up. I'm going to select hot cue, then get into here. That's what you can probably use it for example. And if you want to get out of the beat loop, you see that one selected, just hit that again, and now you're back to playing that track normally. Let's look at pad effects. So now each performance pad plays a different effect, which is pretty cool. So if I hit this one, that does roll. Let's go through all of them. So that's a sweep. So this is a vinyl break. That's where you would use it, in little drops between verses. So make sure you release it before when the snare hits. So not like this. Off time, right? There's an echo. There's a longer echo. Reverb. And that's good when you're finishing a track or finishing your mix. Pretty cool. That's it for pad effects, and finally for sampler. Now this is where you can add little drops, or in this sense, little samples on the transitions of your track or in the middle of your mix. So you can get samples from multiple places, but the great thing is Rekordbox does have this feature available. All you got to do is go to File, then Sample Pack, download Sample Pack. And then this will download a samplepack.spp file, which can only be opened from Rekordbox. Once that's done, head back to Rekordbox, click File, Sample Pack, import Sample Pack. Once you've opened that file, you've got to select a folder where to place that sample pack. So I'm just going to save it onto my desktop. open. Okay, if I open up sampler, here it is, my sample pack. There's loops, there's you know, one-shot kicks and snares and stuff. There's also some effects. So what I'm going to do now is I can just simply drag and drop it in to any of these 8 slots. So drag that there. I'll go to the effects. I'll put in a sub drop and also an explosion. All right, cool. So I'll just play this track and I'll just show you how I trigger the samples.
Bounce.
Right?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Right? And then I'll start with an explosion. Okay, so that's a quick overview on how to use the sampler.
Learn to DJ.
And now we're up to recording your mix. It's pretty straightforward. So in Rekordbox, make sure that the recording panel is enabled. You'll see it right in the middle of the screen. Hit record, and then start playing. Just like that. And if you want to stop recording, hit the record button again, and this window will pop up. There you can type in your DJ name, the album, and as well as the title. So in this instance, I'm just going to click OK. I'll scroll all the way down, and it is saved under recordings. And there's my mix. And there you have it. Please note that you can't record using tracks from stream services. You can only record your mix using downloaded tracks.
Learn to DJ.
Okay, so let's look at the hardware controls on the DDJ-200. So let's look at this side, deck 1. Here we have the jog wheel. We use that for scratching and also to adjust the pitch when we're beat matching. More on that after. Here we also have the pause and play button, play and pause button. We also have the Q button. It does multiple functions. So if I hit the Q button now, it takes us back to the start of the track. And if I press and hold Q, I play it. If I release it, it goes back to the beginning of the track. And you can also see with the little triangle icon, that's where it's cued back to. Okay, let's move on with the performance pads. So with the DDJ-200, the performance pads do multiple things. So if we go to our Rekordbox screen, on the bottom section we have hot cue, beat loop, pad effects, and also a sampler. So for example, if I play it right now, if I hit a hot cue there and then I play it again, that's what it does. I'll talk more about the performance pads after. We also have beat sync, so this is used when you want to immediately sync to a secondary track. So for example, I'm going to hit a track right now. It's clearly out of sync. So if I press this, for example, okay, it's sort of in sync now, but if I move that right there, okay, that's what beat sync does. It doesn't sound great, but I'm going to stop that and let's move on. This is the tempo slider in which we can slow down and speed up. Okay. If I hit shift and beat sync, this adjusts the tempo range in order for us to fine tune the tempo. So that's very wide, as you can see on the screen. Okay. All right, let's move into the middle of the DDJ-200. Here we have the first few knobs up here are the EQ to adjust your highs, mids, and your lows. Just like your stereo system or your sound system at home, it pretty much does the same thing. Adjusting the highs, cutting out the highs, especially with mids, like you can hear here, and finding the lows, cutting out the bottom end and increasing it here. I'm going to show you methods on using this when mixing later down the track. We also have a color effects knob which adjusts the particular effects. In this case, it's a filter. Good for transitions. Here we have the channel faders, or as some like to call it, the up faders, because they go up and down, right? So they control volume that's actually going out to the speakers. Here we also have the crossfader. So I'm going to play the other track and I'm going to move the crossfader far left. Okay, so I'm playing the secondary track and I'm just going to move it like this and it goes to the secondary track if I move it far right. The transition effects is only used for the phone applications like WeDJ. And finally, we have the headphone cues. So what this does with this enabled and with mono split on, which is located on the top right, this enables me to listen to my mix or listen to the other track that's not playing through the speakers, but I can route it to my headphones. So it's just like this. So if I hit master, now I can hear my mix moving the fader up and down out of my headphones. If I want to hear the secondary track, so I'm going to play that there. You can't hear it out of the speakers. Undo that if I hit that. Now I can hear the other track. So that way I'm able to, cue in the track head. Thus, the terminology used is cue, right? And that is pretty much it, guys. The basic functions of the DDJ-200. Now, let's get on to basic DJ theory.
Learn to DJ.
So let's get into mixing. We're going to apply all that we've learned to creating our first mix. So in this example, I have 2 tracks already loaded in Rekordbox. As you can see that they're both in 2 different BPMs and they're also both in 2 different keys. A great tool to determine what keys are best suited for each other is the Camelot format. How to enable this in Rekordbox? If you head over to Preferences, click over to View, scroll all the way down, and you will see Key Display Format. If you select the Classic mode, it switches over to what many musicians are used to, like C minor, F sharp minor, etc., etc. But if you click alphanumeric, we'll see that it's changed to what we know the Camelot format. This one is in 5A, and the next one here is in 4A, which means that they're best suited together. Also, another way to make it visually easier for you to mix if you have a playlist is this traffic light function. And as you can see that I have this track loaded in deck 1, and whatever it's corresponding to, it shows highlighted in green the tracks that are best suited to mix next, which is pretty cool. To enable this, head over here and click. You can also click the drop down for the traffic light to work under which particular deck you want. At this stage, I've selected master. So whichever is the master track, or the master deck rather, that the traffic light function will meet according to the master deck. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transition from the track in deck 1 to the track in deck 2, whilst adjusting the BPM and then smoothly transitioning over. Let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to start from the high energy bit in track 1. All right. I've got the volume down, the crossfader in the middle. So I'm going to hit this hot cue when we get to the second bit of the high energy bit, like so. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see it's low BPM. Okay, I'm just gonna move the drum wheel over. I'm gonna bring it slowly, like this, and then I move the up fader down on channel 1. There we go. Okay, so that's a smooth transition from one track to the other. Okay, so I'm going to start them both again, but in this instance, I'm just going to prepare myself a bit more and also apply a pad effects on deck 1. So let's try that. So go back to the high energy bit. Whoop, swap those up faders around and hit that. Okay, so I'm going to adjust the tempo right now on deck 2. Okay. All right, and I'm going to hit pad effects 1. change the performance pads over here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've got that up there. I'm gonna turn that just a bit more. Just a bit up. We'll adjust it. Now I'm gonna hit the reverb function right now. All right. Okay. So there you go. Practice makes perfect. And when you think that you're set, when you think you've done it well, what are some ways for you to improve more, like adding some effects, adding some extra bits and pieces? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is mixing the track in deck 2 back to the track in deck 1. I'm going to load a different track, which is this one. But what you'll see here is they're both in different keys. So, I mean, it's completely up to you. The possibilities are endless. Be creatively free. But in this example now, I'm going to go to the end of the track, and right after the end of the track, I'm going to hit play straight away, as if I'm cutting straight away from one track into another, as opposed to transitioning, since they're in different keys. So let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to get to the beginning of the track. I'm going to hold that and hit the Q button, like so. I'm going to put both channels up, like so. Okay, so I'm just going to wait till the end, and at the very end, in time, I'm going to hit the play button. Or you can hold Q and then hit play. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like so. So it's seamlessly going through, okay, without any breaks or hiccups. Okay, I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to try that again, but instead I'm going to add something more to it. So I'm going to use some effects, plus I'm also going to do some sampling with the beginning of that track. I'll give you an example. I'm going to do this. Again, just cueing in the other track. Let's try that. Okay, have that again. Now I'm going to select pad effects to change what's going on here. Okay, I can play around with some certain effects like dun 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 dun. All right, there's some reverb here, got some echo. All right, let's get ready, eh? So even though it sounds out of pitch, so I'll probably do it at the end. Something simple can go a long way. And then we're getting into the next track. All right. Fantastic. So there's a couple of examples on mixing and transitioning into your tracks. Now let me show you another thing that we can add onto our mix. This time I'm going to add a sample, an explosion sample, on the beginning of the track in deck 1. All right, let's do it. All right, you can add some little effects towards the end. All right, let's get ready. There we go. So now you've heard the examples of creating your first mix. Get excited, get creative. Now let's get on to recording.
Learn to DJ.
All right, and that's it. Hope you enjoyed learning how to DJ. And now, it's over to you.
too far.